Los Angeles Kings up next. So the Kings, they're a fun team. They are a fun team to watch. I'm gonna be very entertained when they play. Hopefully, the Edmonton Oilers in the next playoff series. I am very stoked for that. So the Los Angeles Kings, their overall record, they have played 79 games as of the time that they have clinched. They have a 45, 24, and 10 record for 100 points. They have scored 269 goals and have only let in 250, and they are 10th in the NHL. They are 25, 10, and 4 at home, and 20, 14, and 6 on the road. This team has been building up for so many years and trying to build this compatible playoff team. Last year, they were all right, but I didn't really see them doing much of anything. This year, on the contrary, I think they honestly could go far. It just sucks, though, that they're playing the Oilers in the first round. Because I also think the Oilers will go far, but I want to see the Kings go far as well. It's going to be a fun series, 100%. So, you look at their leading goal scorer, and it's Kevin Fiala, the player that they acquired in the offseason, in that big offseason trade move. Proved to be really smart for the Los Angeles Kings, but also could be a win for the Minnesota Wild as well. We'll get into them in a few more videos. The Kevin Fiala this season, 69 games played, so he's missed a little bit, but he's still playing really well. 23 goals, 49 assists for 72 points. Once again, he's having a really solid season with the Los Angeles Kings. Not the Minnesota level season that he had last year, but of course, when you're playing with an elite talent like Kirill Kaprizov, you're going to be really good. But obviously, Fiala has still looked solid with the Los Angeles Kings nonetheless. You got Anze Kopitar, who's second in scoring. He's still got it. 79 games played, 27 goals, 42 assists for 69 points. Feels like this guy just won't go away. He's still getting up there in age, and he's fought through the rebuild. He's been through the rebuild. He won those cups back in 2012 and 2014. He went through the whole rebuild, and now he's looking to run it back and get another Stanley Cup. I just don't know. Like, I want to see them go far, but I don't feel like they will go far, and that's the biggest thing with me. I hope I'm wrong, but I really don't know if they will be able to make it past a team like the Edmonton Oilers. So that's the kind of thing that I'm worried about. You got Adrian Kempe there, who's third in scoring with 79 games played, 36 goals, 24 assists for 60 points. Obviously, a really solid scorer, playing really well at the level that he's playing at. I really like him overall as a really good player, and he's scoring at an alarming rate, 100%. Fourth in scoring at Victor Arvidsson, 74 games played, 25 goals, 30 assists for 55 points. You need players like that to score. Arvidsson obviously came in 2021, I believe, and now he's established himself fully. He was hurt a little bit last season, but he's playing really solid this year with LA 100%. Philip Denault, fifth in scoring, 79 games played, 18 goals, 35 assists for 53 points. Denault, solid center, came from Montreal a few years back. And that just goes to show, like, they've built this team periodically through trades and acquisitions. It's not necessarily the young players that are really leading the way here. It's through trades and, signings, because they got Fiala, they got Arvidsson through trades, and they got Denault through free agency. So they've been making these moves gradually, and that's really made them consistently a better team over time. Some other players that I would like to give shout-outs to, Gabriel Velarde, another really solid player there, and then Alex Iafallo is a solid forward there as well. Two players there that didn't make the top five for offensive scorers, but definitely should deserve shout-outs as really solid players. You look at the blue line. The blue line is very underrated, 100%. You got some really underrated names on this defense. You got Drew Doughty, 78 games played, 8 goals, 41 assists for 49 points. Doughty obviously gets criticized for his contract. Yes, his contract's not good. And I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, back when he signed it, he was really good. But now he's just a mad defenseman. So, I mean, like, he's a 50-point defender at this point, which is not deserving of the contract that he has. But you just kind of have to deal with it. You kind of have to haul through it. So, I mean, yeah. Then you got Sean Durzi. And this is where you're moving to the more underrated defenders with LA. 69 games played, 9 goals, 29 assists for 38 points. Him and Mikey Anderson, who we'll get into in a second here, they're not offensive scorers necessarily, but they're really solid on the defensive end, and you need that on teams. You need defensive grit, defensive grit players on that blue line, and Sean Dursey and Mikey Anderson have done a very good job for that. Anderson, 75 games played, 5 goals, 15 assists, 20 points. Really solid defender. I can't say enough for those guys. And then last but not least, you got Sean Walker with 67 games played, 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points there for Walker. So, yeah, really solid blue line. I'm a huge fan of it. I've really enjoyed watching that blue line at points this season with LA. As it goes for your rookies and like your deadline acquisitions, you got Samuel Fagemo as a rookie. I'm not sure how you say that. Fagemo has played 9 games this season, so he hasn't really played much at the level. Then he got 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points, so not bad. But you look at Turcotte, you look at Byfield, you look at Brandt Clark. Brandt Clark hasn't made the jump yet to the NHL, but when he does, that blue line, that's going to be exciting. But Turcotte and Byfield have not lived up to the hype that we expected them to be. And as I'm going to say for every single player, it takes time. It takes time to develop. It takes time to grow. And definitely, like, you look at some of these players. Jack Hughes, it took him a little bit to develop. Lafreniere, he hasn't panned out just yet, but I think he will. Capo Caco, yeah, he's a bust. But, like, honestly, some players are going to be busts, some players are not, and that's why LA is drafted so well, and they've made the right trades, they made the right moves, and I think they've done an overall smart job at, building this team together. And that goes to show their deadline acquisitions. They got Vladislav Gavrikov to help out with that blue line even more. Gavrikov, 17 games played, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. Just not worth it what they gave up for him, but he's still a solid offensive defenseman nonetheless. Then you got Zach McEwen, 9 games played, no goals, 1 assist, 1 point. I'll say this about McEwen as a Flyers fan. He's obviously a more physical type player. He fights. Physicality, is the thing with him. And it's good that you got him. You got Lemieux out of there, a very controversial player in LA, and you got a physical guy like McEwen in, because you need those grit, fourth-line physicality players. And as a Flyers fan, I'm 100% rooting for McEwen in Los Angeles. One of the other deadline acquisitions is their goaltender. It's Younes Korpisalo with 9 games played, a 5-3-1 record, a 2.27 goals against average, and a .919 save percentage. He's looked like his old self with the Los Angeles Kings, which makes sense because Columbus has been bad for a couple of years, so it makes sense why, he hasn't been very good. And then as well as that, too, you got Phoenix Copley with 36 games played, 24-5-3, a 2.60 goals against average, and a .905 save percentage. The biggest thing with the LA Kings, for me, is the goaltending. Who's the goalie? Is it going to be Copley or is it going to be Korpisalo? I would imagine it's Korpisalo. Do you trust Korpisalo? For me, I don't know. For me, I really don't know what to think about that. Especially heading into, you're playing the Edmonton Oilers, most likely. And by the way, they have no injuries, which is good for them. They're playing most likely the Edmonton Oilers. Unless if Seattle catches up to them for that playoff spot, then they're playing Vegas or Colorado or Dallas, and that's a whole conversation, and that's another whole scary thing. But they're likely playing Edmonton. In the scenario where they play the Edmonton Oilers, you're playing against Connor McDavid. We talked about them in the last video. You're playing Connor McDavid, you're playing Leon Draisaitl, you're playing Nugent Hopkins, you're playing Hyman, you're playing Darnell Nurse, you're playing Matthias Ekholm. You're playing some really solid players on that team, and they're superstars. They're generational superstars. You got the best player in the league as well. So what I'm really wondering is, can LA sustain that with their goaltending? And that's the biggest question with me. I've been saying this for a while with Los Angeles. Until they get an actual goalie, I don't know if I can trust them. If Korpisalo is their actual goalie, hey, I'll accept it. I hope Korpisalo does well in the playoffs for the Kings. But really, honestly, given his track history, I don't know. But as well as that, too, he did have 85 saves against Tampa last year, or in 2020. So, yeah. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and comments below. Let me know how far you guys think the LA Kings will go in the playoffs. Thank you all for watching. For all your supporters, I really do appreciate it. The next one, we'll start moving into the Central Division teams, starting off with the Dallas Stars, then the Minnesota Wild, then the Colorado Avalanche. Then we'll go through the rest of the teams as we wrap this up. Expect about 7 more videos before the end of the week. So, yeah, going to be a fun week. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.